In 2000, the internet was seen as an unstoppable force, a limitless network where information moved freely, dismantling barriers and fueling democracy. But what if that highway could be rerouted, reshaped, and controlled? What if, instead of liberation, it became a tool of surveillance, censorship, and influence? As the world embraced the digital age, one nation took a different path, proving that the internet wasn't just about freedom, it was about power. How did they do it? Let's take a look.
It's the year 2000, and US President Bill Clinton is predicting how China's about to transform.
China is a one-party state. It does deny its citizens fundamental rights of free speech and religious expression.
It was the year 2000, and US President Bill Clinton stood before an audience making a bold prediction about China's future. China is a one-party state. It does deny its citizens fundamental rights of free speech and religious expression, he admitted. However, he was convinced that economic progress and political empowerment were inseparable. Trade, he argued, would be the catalyst for change. The internet, that unstoppable force reshaping America, would surely do the same in China. Now, there's no question China has been trying to crack down on the internet. Good luck, Clinton quipped, chuckling at his own metaphor. That's sort of like trying to nail Jell-O to the wall. But if history has taught anything, it's that China doesn't just try, it adapts. Fast forward to today, and over 1 billion Chinese citizens are plugged into an internet unlike any other. They browse, shop, stream, and chat on platforms that rival and sometimes surpass their Western counterparts. And the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, controls it all. Not only did the Great Firewall keep out foreign influence, but it also ensured the party's grip on power remained unchallenged. So, how did China build an internet it could control, and why didn't it bring the democratic change so many in the West had anticipated? To understand China's approach to the internet, we need to look back at 1989, when Beijing's Tiananmen Square became the focal point of pro-democracy protests. Thousands of students gathered demanding free speech and greater rights, hoping to spark a revolution. But their cries for change were brutally silenced. The government responded with military force, and the world watched in shock as tanks rolled in and the protests were crushed. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, survived the crisis, but it came away with a crucial lesson. Unchecked information could be a serious threat to its power. While many in the West viewed the internet as a tool for liberation, the party saw it as a potential danger. The Tiananmen protests proved how quickly free-flowing information could spark dissent, and the CCP vowed to never allow a situation like that to happen again. To ensure this, the memory of Tiananmen was systematically erased. References to the event were blocked, banned, and scrubbed from public knowledge. By the time the internet began to spread in China, much of the younger generation had little to no awareness of the protest and their significance. The party worked to control this new medium from the start, fearing that if the internet remained free, it could fuel movements that threatened their authority. This marked the beginning of China's careful approach to the digital age, one rooted in maintaining power and control at all costs. By 1999, China had devised its plan, a digital fortress known as the Great Firewall. It worked by filtering all foreign internet traffic through 3 choke points, where software scanned and blocked content deemed a threat to the party. Western news sites blocked. Mentions of corruption censored. Tiananmen Square protests scrubbed from history. But Chinese citizens were crafty. Some used virtual private networks or VPNs to slip past the firewall. Others relied on clever wordplay, replacing banned terms with homophones or obscure references. The CCP responded with an ever-evolving system of control, deploying automated algorithms that detected dissenting phrases and changed them in real time. The government even introduced new censorship laws that required social media platforms to employ vast armies of human censors to monitor and delete politically sensitive content before it could go viral. The party, however, was always one step ahead. It deployed thousands of human censors hired by private tech firms to detect and eliminate subversive content before it could spread. They even developed AI-driven surveillance tools that could spot dissent in real time. And if all else failed, authorities would trace criticism back to its source, sending police straight to the doors of those who dared to challenge the status quo. Individuals who posted banned content could be detained, fined, or even imprisoned under vague laws regarding spreading rumors or inciting subversion. While China built walls to keep Western tech out, it planted seeds for a digital ecosystem of its own. Google learned the hard way when it launched a Chinese-language search engine in 2006. The government allowed the entry, but with one strict condition. Google had to comply with censorship rules. Searching for Tiananmen Square, you'd find serene tourist photos, not the infamous image of tanks. Tibet? Only peaceful mountain views, no mention of independence. Even seemingly harmless topics like air pollution stats were censored if they contradicted official reports. But why settle for a compliant foreign company when China could have its own? Enter Baidu, a local search engine that had no qualms about playing by the party's rules. Over time, Google found itself squeezed out of the market, and by 2010, it packed its bags and left. Baidu, free of foreign competition, solidified its dominance, becoming the go-to search engine in China, tightly aligned with the CCP's vision of the digital landscape. And the trend continues. Facebook never got a chance. Instead, China nurtured Weibo, a Twitter clone, Youku, its own YouTube, and WeChat, a super app that became an inseparable part of daily life. From messaging to payments, each company was tasked with one mission: keep content within the political guardrails. In other words, they had to censor themselves, saving the government time and money while making control even more efficient. Even seemingly neutral platforms like ride-hailing and food delivery apps became tools for data collection and monitoring. For all its restrictions, China's internet wasn't stagnant, it was thriving. With a population of 1.3 billion and no foreign competition, domestic platforms had room to experiment and grow. Take ByteDance, the company behind TikTok. Despite operating in one of the world's most tightly controlled digital environments, it managed to create one of the most influential social media platforms in history. The secret? Competition within the confines of the Great Wall. With every major Chinese city buzzing with startups eager to dominate their niche, innovation flourished, just not in ways that threatened the government. Companies invested heavily in AI, cloud computing, and fintech, but always under strict government oversight. The result was a booming digital economy where tech giants thrived, as long as they aligned with the party's interests. However, even corporate success came with risks. When Alibaba's Jack Ma openly criticized financial regulators in 2020, he quickly fell from grace. His Ant Group's highly anticipated IPO was halted, and Ma disappeared from public view for months. The message was clear: no individual, no matter how influential, was beyond the party's reach. The firewall worked. While the internet sparked revolutions elsewhere, China remained stable. In 2022, protests erupted against strict COVID lockdowns, and for a brief moment, censors were overwhelmed. Videos of demonstrators holding blank sheets of paper, a silent protest against censorship, spread across social media. But within 48 hours, the Chinese government restored order. Censors quickly scrubbed the internet clean, while authorities cracked down on anyone involved. The internet in China was not a tool for revolution, it was a tool for control. Clinton's words from the past, laughing about nailing Jell-O to the wall, echoed ironically. The CCP had done far more than that. They had molded the internet to fit their needs, shaping it to serve their agenda. As technology advanced, so did their ability to control it. Facial recognition, predictive policing, and mass data collection became critical tools to ensure that dissent could be identified and stamped out before it could spread. With every new technological development, the party's grip on the digital realm only tightened, proving that China had not just created a firewall, it had built an impenetrable fortress. The great misconception of the early 2000s was that technology and democracy went hand in hand, that the internet, by its very nature, would dismantle authoritarianism. China proved otherwise. Instead of toppling the CCP, the internet became its most powerful weapon, allowing it to monitor, influence, and shape public discourse with surgical precision. The lesson? The internet is a tool. In the right hands, it spreads freedom. In others, it builds digital fortresses. And in China, the walls aren't coming down anytime soon. So, what's your take on China's digital empire? Can freedom and technology really go hand in hand? Or has the internet become the ultimate power play? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more mind-blowing insights. Catch you in the next one.